What is up, guys? So today I'm going to be predicting the Buffalo Bills football schedule for 2026 year. Anyways, welcome back to my Bills fan channel. We're predicting the Bills football schedule for 2026, 2027 this year. So yeah, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do that. Yeah. Anyways, last season the Bills finished second in the AFC East with a 12-5 record. They beat the Ravens 41-40 in an epic comeback. They beat the Jets 30-10. They beat the Dolphins 31-21. They beat the Saints 31-19. But they lost to the Patriots 23-20, and that was who won the AFC East. And they lost to the Falcons 24-14. They beat the Panthers 40-9. They beat the Chiefs 28-21. They lost to the Dolphins 30-13. Surprisingly, they beat the Buccaneers 44-32. They lost to the Texans 23-19. They beat the Steelers 26-7. They beat the Bengals 39-34. They beat the Patriots 35-31. Patriots would try to win the AFC East. That team what the Bills did. After the Bills beat the Browns 23-20, and that's when they clinched the playoffs. But they lost to the Eagles 13-12, and that's the week the Patriots clinched the AFC East. And they beat the Jets 35-8. They beat the Jaguars in the AFC wildcard round 27-24. But they lost to the Denver Broncos in the AFC divisional round 33-30 in overtime. But they started off 4-0, first to the AFC East, but when they were 4-2, they fell down to second. And they were in second the whole rest of the year. When they were 4-1, they were still first in the AFC East. But yeah. Anyways, let's take a look at their schedule this year. Predict it. Here it is. And it just released last Thursday, so yeah. Here it is. Y'all, the schedule. They actually have a pretty tough schedule this year. I'm not gonna lie. Anyways, their first game will be on Sunday, September 13th at Houston on the road against the Houston Texans at NRG Stadium in Houston, Texas at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time on CBS. This game, the Bills, Texans, they played each other last year in Houston. The Texans won that game 23-19. And the Texans also finished second in their division at 12-5 last year. And also made the playoffs. And they actually played each other the year before that in 2024 in Houston as well. The Texans won that game 23-20. And the Texans also won the AFC South that year and made the playoffs and went 10-7. I think this one's a tough one. I'm going to say the Bills lose this game, and they start off 0-1. And then the Buffalo Bills, and y'all know the Bills have a new stadium this year. The Bills' next game will be on Thursday, September 7th 15th at home against the Detroit Lions at Highmark Stadium in Orchard Park, New York at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time on Prime Video. The Bills are good at a new stadium this year, as y'all know, and this is going to be their home opener in the new stadium. Thursday Night Football. It's for YouTube. Okay. The Lions went 9-8 last year, took a major step down after going 15-2 and winning the NFC North. Lions went 15 but last year they finished 4th in the NFC North and went 9-8. They had a winning record, but they weren't great. They went 9-8 that year, but they started last year, but they started off 4-1. The last time the Bills played the Lions was in Detroit in 2024, and the Lions were good, but the Bills actually won that year, 48-42. And the year before, 2024, they played them was in 2022 on Thanksgiving in Detroit, but the Bills won that time as well, like 28-25, I believe it was. The Bills have beat the Lions the past 2 or 3 times we've played them. I'm going to say they destroyed the Lions. So they're now 1-1. And then the next game will be on Sunday, September 27th at home against the Los Angeles Chargers at Highmark Stadium in Orchard Park, New York at 1:00 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox. The Chargers went 11-6 last year, finished second in the AFC West, made the playoffs. I think this one is a tough one. I'm going to say it's a close one, but the Bills win it and move to 2-1 on the season. And then the Bills next year will be on Sunday, October 4th at home against the New England Patriots at Highmark Stadium in Orchard Park, New York at 1:00 p.m. Eastern Time on CBS. Excuse me. Patriots went 14-3 last year, won the AFC East and appeared to be in the Super Bowl, but lost in it to the Seahawks, 29-13. I think this one will be a tough one, but I think the Bills will win this game. I'm going for an upset. I think the Bills win this game and they move to 3-1 on the season. The next game for the Bills will be on Monday, October 12th on the road against the Los Angeles Rams at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN and ABC. So first Monday night game of the year in LA. The Rams finished second in their division as well, went 12-5, made it to the NFC Championship game, but lost in it to the Seahawks. I think this is going to be a close one, but I'm going to go for an upset, saying the Bills win this one. And they move to 4-1 on the season. The next game for the Bills will be on Sunday, October 18th on the road against the Las Vegas Raiders at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada at 4:25 p.m. Eastern Time on CBS. Raiders win. Raiders are bringing in a new quarterback this year, Fernando Mendoza from Indiana. in college football. He did really good with Indiana college football, got them to a national championship. But the Raiders did really bad last season. They went 3-14, finished last in the AFC West. I think the Bills will win this game, and I have them moving to 5-1 on the season. And then Sunday, October 25th, will be a bye week for the Buffalo Bills. And then the Buffalo Bills' next game will be on Sunday, November 1st, at home against the Baltimore Ravens at Highmark Stadium in Orchard Park, New York, at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time on CBS. Ravens went 8-9 last year. Should have finished 10-7, beating the Bills and the Ravens. Should have won the AFC North, but that didn't happen. I think the Bills will. The Ravens also fired their coach, so I'm gonna say the Bills win this game and they move to 6-1 on the season. The next game for the Buffalo Bills will be on Monday, November 9th. On the road against the Minnesota Vikings at US Bank Stadium in Minnesota at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN and ABC. So second Monday night game of the season for the Bills. This one should not be. The Vikings went 9-8 last season, finished third in the NFC North. I think the Bills, the last time they played each other was back in 2022 when the Vikings were good. It was in Buffalo, but the Vikings won 33-30 in overtime. But this time I'm going to say the Bills give a bench in that loss and win this game. And I have the movement to... And I have the movement to 7-1 on the season. The next game for the Buffalo Bills will be on Sunday, November 15th, on the road against the New York Jets at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time on CBS. The Vikings went... the Jets went 3-14 last season in the same division as the Bills for this last in the AFC East, going 3-14. They played each other twice last season because they're in the same division. The Bills won both times, and they were both blowouts. I'm going to say the Bills win this game in a blowout, and I have the movement to 8-1 on the season. The next game for the Buffalo Bills will be on Sunday, November 22nd, at home against the Miami Dolphins at Highmark Stadium in Orchard Park, New York, at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time on Fox. These two teams, this is another division rival for the Bills. They played each other twice last season. The first time it was in Buffalo. And that game wasn't always pretty for the Bills, but they won that game 31-21. And then the second time it was in Miami, but surprisingly, the Dolphins destroyed the Bills 30-13. Bills played bad that game. This game is in Buffalo, though. The Dolphins finished third in the AFC East at 7-10. I think the Dolphins are going to be pretty bad again this year. I think the Bills will give a bench on that loss and beat the Dolphins here. Now I have the movement to 9-1 on the season. The next game for the Buffalo Bills will be on Thursday, November 26th, at home against the Kansas City Chiefs at Highmark Stadium in Orchard Park, New York, at 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time on NBC and Peacock. So this is another Thursday night game. It's actually Thanksgiving night football game, but it's also a Thursday night football game. Bills, I believe, will host their first ever game on Thanksgiving. The last time the Bills played on Thanksgiving was on the road against the Lions. They won that game 28-25. The Chiefs, they're usually pretty good, but last year they went 6-11. They had a bad year last year. And they appear to have a tough schedule this year. I think the Bills will win this game in a blowout, and I have the movement to 10-1 on the season. So that's the second Thursday night game of the season. And the next game for the Buffalo Bills will be on Sunday, December 6th, on the road against the New England Patriots at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts, at 4:25 p.m. Eastern Time on CBS. Patriots, we already talked about them earlier in the video. They were in the Super Bowl but lost it to the Seahawks, and they won the AFC East. I'm going to say the Bills. I'm going to say they split the series between the Patriots, and they lose this one in New England to the Patriots. And they fall to 10-2. So, yeah. Last season, when these two teams played, the first time was in Buffalo, but the Patriots won 23-20. In the second time, it was in New England, but the Bills won that time 35-31. But this year, I'm going to say it's the opposite. I think the Bills will lose this game to the Patriots, and they fall to 10-2. But last time the Bills won a game in New England before last year was 2022. Anyways, but the next game for the Buffalo Bills will be on Sunday, December 13th, on the road against the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin, at 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time on NBC and Peacock. So first Sunday night game of the season. Packers went 9-7 and won last year, finished second in the NFC North, made the playoffs but got knocked out in the NFC wildcard round by the Bears. It was 31-27, I believe. But at halftime of that game, the Packers were winning 21-3. I think this one is a difficult game, but I'm going to say it's a close one. But the Bills win this game, and they moved to 11-2 on the season. The next game for the Buffalo Bills will be on Saturday, December 19th, at home against the Chicago Bears at Highmark Stadium in Orchard Park, New York, at 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time on CBS. So late season, it's Saturday. So Saturday Night Football, one Saturday Night Football game this year. The Bears won the NFC North last year, went 11-6, and made it to the playoffs. I think this was a tough one. I'm gonna say the Bills lose this game, and I have them moving to 11-3 on the season. The next game for the Buffalo Bills will be on Friday, December 25th, on the road against the Denver Broncos at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Netflix. These two teams played each other last year in the AFC Divisional, but the Broncos won 33-30 in overtime. I'm going to say the Bills lose this game, but they give it Benz in the playoffs and beat them in the playoffs, and have them moving to 11-4 on the season. The next game for the Buffalo Bills will be on Sunday, January 3rd, on the road against the Miami Dolphins at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, Florida, at 1:00 p.m. Eastern Time on CBS. The Dolphins beat the Bills last year when it was in Miami 30-13. And I'm not trying to make any dumb predictions, but I think the Bills will lose this game, and I have them moving to 11-5 on the season. The next game for the Buffalo Bills will be on Sunday, January 10th, at home against the New York Jets at Highmark Stadium in Orchard Park, New York. Time to be announced. Or Saturday, January 9th. So this game will either be played on Saturday, January 9th or Sunday, January 10th. And they don't know the kickoff time or the TV channel yet. This will be the last regular season game for the Bills. The Bills beat the Jets last year really easily both times. I'm going to say the Bills won this game in a blowout. And I have them finishing 12-5, finishing second in the AFC East. And I'll still have them winning the Super Bowl this year. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it. And make sure you give this video a big thumbs up if you like it. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Turn on the notification if you haven't yet so you get notifications every time I upload a new video. But that's going to be it, guys. And peace out.